Alright, let's get started on this discussion. We're supposed to focus on learning objectives, comparing different learning approaches, applying behavior analysis, and making connection between research and practical teaching. How about we go through each objective and fold in the Unit 5 topics as we go?
Good idea. Let's start with the first objective, comparing and contrasting the different approaches to learning. So, what is learning, really? It seems straightforward, but there's so much depth when we dig into these approaches.
Definitely, learning can be seen as a change in behavior, as behavioral theories is agree, but it can also be viewed as a complex mental process like cognitive theories suggest each approach behavioral, social cognitive information processing, cognitive constructivist, and social constructivist adds a unique perspective on what learning actually involves.
That's a great summary. The behavioral approach is all about observable changes in behavior. It's grounded in principles like reinforcement and punishment. For example, using rewards for completed tasks or to encourage good study habits. Skinner's operant conditioning is a big part of this, right?
Exactly. Behavioral theory suggests that we can shape student behavior through consistent and reinforcement. But then, social cognitive theory takes it further, emphasizing observational learning. Bandora's theory says students learn by watching others. Think of how students might mimic positive behaviors they see in class.
Right, that's really different from the information processing approach. This one treats learning as a system of processing, storing, and retrieving information, kind of like a computer. In class, teachers can help by chunking information into manageable bits, like breaking down a math problem step by step.
And then we have cognitive constructivism, where learning is about building knowledge through experience. Piaget's work emphasizes that students actively construct their own understanding. Teachers can support this by giving students hands-on experiences.
Which brings us to social constructivism based on Vygotsky's ideals. This approach sees learning as a social process, often happening within the zone of proximal development. In classrooms, this might look like group projects where students learn from one another with teacher guidance.
I think that really captures the variety. Each approach has a unique way of seeing learning and has different classroom applications. Behavioral theories might lead to reward systems. Social cognitive theory could inspire peer learning, and constructivist approaches focus on hands-on collaborative learning.
Exactly. And it's on us as future teachers to decide which approach works best for each situation. Now, on the second objective, applying behavioral analysis in teaching. How do we use behavioral analysis across subjects to address diverse learning needs?
I think behavior analysis gives us practical tools, reinforcement, shaping, and even behavior tracking. For example, we can use positive reinforcement in a language class to encourage participation or apply shaping in a math class to gradually build complex skills.
And don't forget classical conditioning. It can be useful in subtle ways, like associating a calm, focused environment with a reading time. There's also operating conditioning, which is more about using consequences to increase or decrease behaviors. This can be as simple as rewarding students for completing homework.
Absolutely. Behavioral analysis can really help us address specific learning challenges. Say a student struggles with disruptive behavior, we could apply behavior modification strategies to reinforce positive actions and gestalt insight learning. Play a role too. It's about seeing the whole picture in learning context. This might help us understanding broader concepts in the subject.
That's a good point. Insight learning can be especially useful when we're helping students make the connections between topics. Then there's experiential learning theory, which emphasizes learning through direct experiences. This is really hands on and could apply well to subjects like science or social studies.
I agree. Combs' experimental learning cycle encourages to let students reflect on experiences, think through them, and apply what they've learned. It's a more holistic way to teach, especially when you're dealing with complex real world issues.
Now we're on to the last objective, connecting behavioral learning theories with developmentally appropriate teaching approaches. This one's big. It's about using research to adapt teaching methods based on students' gender, needs, strengths, interests, and experiences. How can we apply these theories in a way that inclusive and individualized?
Third.
Current research gives us some good guidance. For example, studies suggest that behavioral approaches like reinforcement can help younger students with routine tasks, while other students may benefit more from cognitive and social learning strategies.
In tailoring methods based on students' interest and strength is key. Let's say you have a class with some students who love storytelling. You can use social constructivism, having them create group projects and let them share stories, or for students who thrive with structure and behavioral approach might work better.
Yes, and it's also about adapting to their needs and experiences. For instance, boys and girls may respond differently to certain types of reinforcement. With behavioral analysis, we can keep track of which methods work best for each individual student.
Go.
Plus, in terms of inclusivity, it's important to consider diverse backgrounds. A social constructivist approach, which involves collaborative projects, can help students from different backgrounds connect and learn from each other's experiences. It's culturally responsive teaching in action.
And we can bring in insights from experiential learning theory here as well. By providing hands-on real-world experiences, we give students meaningful learning moments that relate directly on to their lives outside school.
Exactly, these theories aren't isolated. They work together. By understanding and using them in combination, we can create learning environments that adapt to students' needs, strengths, and interests. That's what makes our teaching developmentally appropriate and impactful.
Go.
Agreed. In applying research to this means we're not just choosing theories randomly, we're aligning our methods with proven strategies that cater to diverse learners.
It's really motivating to see how these theories can make a difference. By blending them thoughtfully, we're setting up our students for success no matter their background or learning style.
Exactly. It all comes down to being flexible, responsive, and open to trying different approaches. Great discussion, guys. I think we're getting closer to understanding how these learning theories really work in practice.